The midnight drive. I've always been a night owl, finding solace in late-night drives. But that night, after a long day and too many drinks, my usual route home turned into a nightmare. Around midnight, I left my friend's house and drove the familiar road through dense forest and abandoned farms. The moon cast an eerie glow over the road, and the headlights barely cut through the darkness. I turned up the radio, but the DJ's voice was soon replaced by unsettling static. I tried to find another station, but all I got was eerie silence. Then I saw her, a woman standing by the road. Her dress was tattered, and her posture was hunched as though in pain. Her face was shadowed, but her presence made my skin crawl. Against my better judgment, I slowed down and rolled down the window. "Are you okay?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. She didn't respond. Instead, she slowly turned her head, revealing a face of hollow eyes and despair. My instincts screamed to drive away, but curiosity pulled me out of the car. I stepped onto the gravel, the crunching sound loud in the silence. A cold wind swept through, and the woman's head tilted unnaturally. Her mouth opened, but no sound came out. Just as I reached out, she screamed, a bone-chilling sound that made the ground shudder. I stumbled back to my car, heart racing. I slammed the door and started the engine, my hands trembling. The woman had vanished, but the dread had intensified. The trees seemed to close in as I drove faster. Familiar landmarks were missing, and the forest stretched endlessly, trapping me in a nightmarish maze. My phone buzzed, breaking the silence. I saw a voicemail from an unknown number. I hesitated, then played it. It was static, but faint whispers echoed in the background. Frustrated, I tossed the phone aside and drove faster. Then I saw it, an old, dilapidated house barely visible through the trees. It looked like something from a horror film, with shattered windows and a door hanging off its hinges. A chilling thought crossed my mind. I was lost. I pulled up to the house, hoping to find help. The cold air hit me as I stepped out. The silence was almost deafening. I approached the house, my flashlight revealing strange markings on the walls and broken furniture scattered about. I found a staircase leading to the basement. Despite an urge to leave, curiosity propelled me down. The basement was small, lit by a flickering bulb. In the corner was an old, dusty mirror. I approached the mirror, my reflection distorted in its grime-covered surface. As I wiped away some dust, I saw a chilling message scrawled in what looked like blood. "They are coming for you." A loud crash from upstairs startled me. My heart pounded as I raced back up the stairs, desperate to escape. The house seemed to shift around me, the walls closing in. I reached the front door, but it was locked tight. Panic set in as I pounded on it, hands shaking. Suddenly, I heard footsteps behind me. I turned, but the hallway was empty. A malevolent presence felt tangible. I ran back to my car, breath ragged. As I fumbled with the keys, I glanced back and saw a figure standing in the distance, barely visible, but unmistakable. I finally got the car started and sped away, headlights cutting through the dark. The forest receded, and familiar landmarks reappeared. I drove fast, not daring to look back. When I reached a well-lit area, I pulled over, trembling. I glanced at the rearview mirror, half expecting to see the figure following me. But all I saw was the empty road. I drove home in silence, unable to shake the feeling I had narrowly escaped something sinister. The house, the woman, the message, they felt like a haunting dream. The next morning, I returned to the road, determined to find the house again. But it was gone. No matter how hard I searched, it was as if it had never existed. I drove the route many times, but it was always the same, empty, silent, and devoid of that night's horrors. Now, every night drive brings back that fear, a constant reminder of the terrifying experience. And whenever I see a figure on the side of the road, I wonder if I'm being lured into another nightmare.